Hey there, good afternoon. Welcome to the mobility training, the movement portion of this four-part series on somatic awareness for resilience. In mobility, we're looking to engage your core and create fluidity and grace within the body. So that translates into how we are in the world. This is all part of awareness, which I think of awareness as conscious knowledge. It's not just being present with what's going on, but it's also knowing how to interpret and how to work with the information that's coming in, either through proprioception, interoception, verbal, visual, etc., any of the senses that we have access to. And within that, we become aware of our habits. We begin to learn new ways of movement. We begin to learn new ways of breath, new ways of thinking and feeling into our bodies, which gives us this ability to be able to be at choice at any given moment. So with awareness, we first come into awareness, and then we come into discernment, and then we come into resilience, and then we come into agility. That's where I'm talking about the conscious knowledge, awareness of habit, that's the discernment, learning new ways and being at choice in any moment, that's resilience, and then agility. So the somatic part of somatic awareness is looking at the body as a whole organism, being able to recognize all the differentiated parts and how they come together and create not only the body, but how they transmit information. Information, again, coming in from the outside, coming in from the inside, the feelings, sensations, everything that's going on around us. And so viewing the body as a whole organism and being able to feel, be aware again of the sensations and be able to engage totally. We watch how our body moves. We watch how our body breathes. We watch how our brain, mind thinks. And we begin to realize through some of these practices that the body is just a slightly differentiated piece, let's say, of the whole, how we're integrated into the environment, into the ecosystem, how we are so connected, for instance, to the trees and to the air, and how, because we exhale, right, this carbon dioxide, they exhale the oxygen, and how we're one part of the whole thing. Also, through the movement piece especially, we begin to be able to repattern our fascia. Our fascia is the interconnected tissue, holds us together, instigates movement. It's that piece that is so interconnected with the nervous system that it senses before we're conscious of that sensation, and it begins to move and create before we even become conscious of what's happening. And you know, it's that the old analogy of the iceberg. You know, the consciousness is like 10% that we see at the top, and then the fascial patterning, or the fascia, is everything else that we see underneath, the subconscious. It includes the enteric nervous system, it includes the vagus nervous system, it includes the autonomic nervous system, it includes the proprioception of how we feel and where we are in space, the interoception, how we're, what we sense inside. So somatic awareness is the awareness of the whole body and how that whole body is integrated into the greater environment. And once we really become aware of these things, we become truly open to the full spectrum of possibility and capacity that we have as human beings, and what has come through in millennium of evolution. So now we're going to open up today. We're going to open up with a two-part breathing exercise. This comes straight out of Qigong. I want you to find a comfortable seat. This is the part of the 6 healing sounds Qigong. And the reason I'm opening up with these two is because they work with the opposing sides of the body, and so bring a little bit of balance. We're going to start with the heart, which when it's balanced is producing or in the energy of love, joy, happiness. And the liver, when it's in balance, is producing kindness or is in that energy. So we'll just get started here. What we're going to do, I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to run you through it a couple of times, and then you're going to practice a little bit on your own. So the way to start is hands out to the side. You can have them on your knees. You can be sitting in a chair or standing or seated the way I am on a cushion, etc. Just be comfortable. So starting with the hands out to the side, and as you inhale, you're going to bring the hands up. You're going to interlace the fingers, pressing the palms up, lifting the eyes up, and leaning slightly to the right. You're going to produce the sound on the exhale, ha. Inhaling straight up, and then exhaling your hands back down. To go to the liver side, we're going to inhale straight up, interlacing the fingers, palms to the ceiling, eyes up, leaning slightly to the left. On the exhale, produce the sound shh. Inhaling up and exhaling down and away. So we'll go through that 3 times on each side, inhaling up, interlacing the fingers, palms up, eyes up, leaning to the right. Inhaling, exhaling down. Inhaling, palms up, interlaced fingers, eyes up to the left. Inhaling to center, exhaling away. The sounds don't have to be super loud, they can even be inaudible. So let's go through it 2 more times. Inhaling. When you inhale and bring the arms up, try to knit the bottom of the rib cage down towards your hips. Not letting the lower ribs flare out. Last one. Leaning left. Just take a moment to feel into that. Welcome to your body, welcome to the practice. Coming on your hands and knees, we're going to come into the tabletop. And dropping back into child's pose. Spreading the knees out, letting the toes touch.
letting your arms relax onto the floor, your forehead relax onto the floor. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Keep your body moving if that feels good. Personally, I like to stretch a little bit by moving and engaging, and then coming into stillness. It's just a reminder that there is no such thing as real stillness, especially in the body. There's constantly things moving. We're constantly in dynamic tension. And we're going to explore some of that tension. We're going to be doing what somebody called the other day, I really liked it, it was called the jump rope. So we're going to be basically circling the torso without rotating the hips and the shoulders. So we're going to start out to the left, to the right. We're going to press the rib cage out to the right, and think about pressing or drawing the left rib cage over as you start out, and that's an inhale. Rotating down through cow, belly extended, exhaling. Inhaling into the left rib cage, again pressing or drawing the right rib cage over. And then up into what you might call the cat, or arched here. We're just dropping, the sacrum is basically in neutral. We're arched up through the upper back. And then that's an exhale. Inhaling to the right, again, inhale. Exhaling through. Inhaling left. Exhaling through. Follow your own breath. Change it up a little bit. Shift your inhales and your exhales. Explore the space that's being created by opening into the left, opening into the right, opening down and through the belly, up through the spine. A couple more rotations here. And shifting directions. Right rib cage is drawn left, opening the left side. Really trying not to rotate the hips. Isolate that rotation in the torso. Think about the jump rope. Remember we played that on the playgrounds, right? If you find a stuck place, open into that stuck place, breathe into it, inhale, creating space, a little tension, maybe squeeze into it a little bit, tense up, contract, and exhale into the space. And just play with it a little bit, loosen up a little bit, get a little dancey, get a little fancy, moving around. Drop back into child's pose. And then what we're going to do is we're going to crawl. We're basically crawl in place, sort of recreating what happens when we're kids, when we're learning how to crawl, or before we learn how to walk. If you ever watch babies, they kind of do this bit, right? So we're going to do this bit a little bit, this little rocking back and forth, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna move my arm, and I'm going to take a step. They're not quite thinking that, but you know, they're wanting to go. So we're going to move left arm, right leg. Just hold into that, or not hold into that, rock into that. Think about the rotations. This time you're going to rotate through the hips and up through the shoulder. Right shoulder's going out and down, right hip is out and down, left hip down and up, right shoulder down, up. And kind of rotate through that, rotate through the rib cage, torso, play with it a little bit, opposite directions. And bring everything back even and drop into child's pose. Shake it out, coming back up, and Again, the baby that's getting ready to leap off into that next new movement, that next little emergent piece of growth, which we're all in right now. Right hand, left knee up, rocking into that, rotating shoulders, hips. Get slinky, get down, get in the mud. Be primal, be childlike. Natural movement. Pay attention to where the tension spots are. Mine, left inner groin. Yep, old injury, I can feel it. It also happens to be the hip that when I get intense, that hip hikes up. That little piriformis contracts. Coming back evenly, drop into that child's pose. Rotate, play, shake it out. And we're going to come to standing. And this is a place where you could have a belt if you want. I'm going to grab one so you can see it. But it doesn't necessarily require a belt, okay? The belt is so that when you can create some dynamic tension here, okay? And as we're going to do this, we're going to create that dynamic tension. We're going to arch our way over to the right. You can just do this without a belt. It's fine. Feet are about hip distance apart. Knees are soft, maybe slightly bent. And you think about this bend, you're actually reaching up and out of the pelvis. You're dropping that left foot into the floor. You're allowing this space to open. You're allowing the space on the right side to open as well. So you're not folding, you're not crunching. You're up and you're out. And you're going to rotate up, facing up, and begin to drop down towards that left foot. Rotate around on the exhale. On the inhale, coming up and rotating. And we're going to do this a few times. And just go at your pace, at your comfort level. If you feel too tight to rotate around, don't do it. Don't hurt yourself. Don't force yourself. But play with it a little bit. I said, ask you to play with it a little bit. We're going to reverse direction. We're going to come up left, rotate the heart open, coming down towards that right foot. Again, inhaling up and out, up and out. Think about that. And as you come down, it's still up and out, up and out. You're reaching, you're opening. This is an extension. I don't really like terms like stretching or bending. You know, we're going to do a side bend. It's more of a opening and extension. Think about that. Think about it. Engage the floor of the pelvis. Little kegel there. Pulling up on the floor of the pelvis. Knitting the rib cage down towards your hip joints, down towards your hip bones. Maybe in a little bit of a cross. Creating stability, creating strength. And it's really a way of creating more space and extension. And just play with it a little bit. Bend the knees. Move around. Enjoy your body. Enjoy your body. It's the only one you have this time around. This emergent, incredible piece of, we'll just call it universal consciousness. How about that?
So coming up, I'm going to show you the next breath exercise. This is the Nali Kriya. And basically what it is inhale, and then you're going to fold forward as you exhale. When you reach the end of your exhale, you're going to suck your diaphragm up into your chest. I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then on this one, when you get to the end of your exhale and you suck that diaphragm up into your chest, you're going to hold that exhale and you're going to flick your belly a couple of times. My partner said flick. That's the word you want to use, James. Flick. Flipping. I was using flipping and didn't quite give it the right connotation. So we're going to inhale. Then you'll exhale. So as you come back up, you're still holding the inhale, or the exhale, I'm sorry, you're still holding the exhale. You get back to standing, and you inhale fully, and then you tense your body. And then as you exhale, you fold back over again, and we repeat the process. So we're going to do it 3 times. Hopefully you understand everything I was just saying. It's pretty popular. You can find it online, or you can shoot me a message and I'll go over it with you. Okay, so we're going to start here. Inhaling. And flick the belly about maybe 5 times. I do it 21 times each, but that's me. Inhaling. Exhaling. What this has an effect of, and there's a lot that can be going on there, there's a lot to say about it, but basically in this context we're talking about the nervous system, we're talking about awareness, we're talking about having, building agility, discernment, resilience, etc. This helps to really balance the nervous system. It challenges the nervous system, but in a safe environment. And then the tension, especially on the inhale and holding the tension, really retrains your whole body, mind, and the nervous system into knowing that it can handle more than it thinks it can. Also, helps break cycles of anxiety, or what we'll call the sympathetic fight and flight kind of cycle. So it's very helpful in that way. And it's just kind of fun to do. So we're going to be coming into a horse stance, a wider horse stance here. And soften the knees. Hands on the knees, arms stiff. Engaging the floor of the pelvis. And again, thinking about knitting your ribs in a cross pattern from the lower ribs down to the top of the hip bones here. It doesn't have to be super hard. Play with it with inhale and play with it with exhale. But just think about that as we're learning how to manage the movement in our body and be more agile, more at choice.
So we're here, we're stiffening the arms, and we're going to do some cat-cow. Really, really bring that belly in, drop the sacrum, drop the chin on the cat portion, on that cow portion. Rotate from the sacrum, let that movement kind of whip up the spine through the neck, and bringing the chin up, lastly, looking up. Inhaling, we're going to start at the sacrum, rotating, coming into flexion, spine. You can think about it one vertebrae at a time, which really doesn't happen, but it's a good idea. Keeping the arms stiff, chin to the chest. Exhale, inhale. Starting with the sacrum, and then just play with this. I really love the idea of you exploring your body in as many different ways as you can. Keep this movement going and bring some weight over to the left side. Speed it up a little bit. Slow it down. Rotate the hips. Rotate the body. Move. When you come up, engage your eyes, looking up, opening the throat all the way down through the sternum, all the way down through the belly, all the way down into the floor of the pelvis. We're going to bring our weight over to the right foot and we're going to drop down into a karate squat, letting the left leg rotate so that you're on the heel. Now don't just let that knee drop in. Keep some tension, keep some dynamic tension in there. Engage through the floor of the pelvis. Engage on the inner thighs. And then, without really lifting up, rotate that left foot down and slide your weight over to the left side, rotating that right foot up. And when you engage through here, and as you begin to move, try to use the in this case the left leg. Really engage the left leg. This is just stabilizing. You're not pulling with that. That's the tendency. And then rotate around and let the weight, the tension, and the engagement shift. Get the arms involved. Move it around a little bit. Crawl your way around. Slow it down. I think I just came off the screen there for a second. Anyway. Come into standing. Something we didn't do at the beginning of this was test our balance with a tree pose. We're going to come into the end, we're going to see how we are in our balance with a tree pose. I tend to not be so balanced. And let's shift feet. Tight shorts. Whew. Not so good there. Once I drop in, let myself ground, engage, knit the rib cage down. Everything feels relatively stable.
So coming down, we're going to come to our backs. I'm just going to guide you through this piece, coming down into a Shavasana, laying on your back. Taking a minute to sink into the floor, sink into the mat. Let your bones be heavy. Let your muscles feel like jello. Just imagine that. Your bones are sinking down through jello. Right into the floor. Palms up. Pelvis, inner thighs released. We're going to come into our next breath and the ending of this session. We're going to work with the triple warmer here. And what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to imagine like a rolling pin rolling down from your forehead all the way down your body, all the way out your feet. We're going to do this 3 times, and on the exhale, you're going to make the sound he. Again, it doesn't have to be loud, it can be semi-audible or even silent. So, inhaling deeply. He. This is for balance, relaxation, integration. Inhaling. Rolling pin down the body. He. And one more. Inhaling. He. And just taking a few moments. Feel into the body, to feel the work that we've done, the new awareness, the expansion of your consciousness, a deeper understanding of the language of the body, that non-verbal language, where wisdom resides, wisdom of the ancients, wisdom of the body. And our interconnection with everything. Thank you for being in this session with me, and I look forward to seeing you